You've probably heard it called a golden age, right? This incredible explosion of art and science that supposedly dragged Europe out of the darkness and into the modern world. But was it really that simple? Was it a sudden rebirth? Or is the story, well, a little more complicated? Let's get into it.
Okay, take a look at this. It's Leonardo da Vinci's Vitruvian Man. And it's so much more than just a famous drawing. It's the perfect symbol for the revolutionary idea at the very heart of the Renaissance. A brand new, intense focus on humanity itself. Our potential, our beauty, and our place right at the center of the universe. I mean, this was a radical shift in thinking that was about to change literally everything.
So let's start with the name itself. The word Renaissance actually means rebirth. But what exactly was being reborn? And to really get that, we need to figure out where the idea even came from in the first place.
Right, so the word is French for rebirth, and we use it to talk about that pivotal, game-changing period between the 1300s and the 1600s. And the rebirth they were talking about was a very deliberate revival of the art, the philosophy, and the literature of ancient Greece and Rome. It was this conscious effort to say, hey, let's reconnect with that amazing past, which felt way more glorious and human-focused than the world they were living in.
And you know what's so cool? The people living through it knew something big was happening. An Italian artist and historian named Giorgio Vasari was the first one to actually use the word rinascita, or rebirth. He wanted a word to describe how the artists of his time were, in his view, breaking away from the stiff, barbaric style of the Middle Ages to bring back the lost glory of the classical world.
So this brings us to the really big questions, doesn't it? What exactly were they rediscovering? And why did this incredible cultural fire ignite in 14th century Italy, of all places? What was so special about that time and that place?
Well, the answer lies in one city, Florence. It's a place where a totally unique combination of money, politics, knowledge, and, believe it or not, a massive disaster all came together to create the perfect conditions for a revolution.
Welcome to Florence. Back in the 14th and 15th centuries, this wasn't just some city in a larger kingdom. No, it was an independent republic, a powerhouse. Its whole society was built on commerce and trade, not old feudal loyalties, which made it one of the richest and most urban places in all of Europe.
So what was the special recipe here? First, you've got these independent merchant republics that really valued civic life. Then you add some incredibly powerful patrons, like the Medici family, bankers with unbelievable wealth who just poured money into art and architecture. A super important ingredient came next, a flood of ancient knowledge, as Greek scholars fled to Italy when Constantinople fell, bringing priceless ancient manuscripts with them. And finally, the catalyst that set it all off, a catastrophe.
The Black Death, it's hard to even imagine, but it wiped out nearly half the population of Florence in a single year. That kind of trauma causes a profound psychological shift. I mean, when death is literally everywhere, the afterlife can start to feel a bit abstract. So thinkers and artists began to focus more on the value, the beauty, and the potential of life right here, right now, on Earth.
And this new focus on earthly life, it needed some intellectual fuel. And that fuel, that engine, was a movement we now call humanism.
This ancient Greek idea basically became the motto for the entire Renaissance. Now, humanism wasn't about rejecting God. Not at all, but it put human beings, our ability to reason, our creativity, our potential, smack dab in the center of the story. It was this powerful statement that humanity wasn't just flawed and waiting for heaven, but was a source of incredible genius in its own right.
So what did a humanist actually do? Well, you can think of them as these amazing intellectual detectives. Scholars like Petrarch and Coluccio Salutati would travel all over Europe, digging through old monastery libraries, hunting for forgotten manuscripts by Roman and Greek writers. And they weren't just reading them, they were studying them to understand everything from moral philosophy to human behavior.
And all of this work was building towards this one ultimate goal, the uomo universale, the universal man. This was the ideal person, someone who could master both the arts and the sciences, who had intellectual genius and physical skill. And, of course, the poster boy for this is Leonardo da Vinci, the painter, scientist, inventor, the ultimate Renaissance man.
So this new way of thinking wasn't just some abstract idea for scholars to debate. No way. It unleashed a tangible, unbelievable explosion of genius and innovation that touched almost every single field you can imagine.
And it wasn't just about painting and sculpture. That same drive to understand and organize the world also applied to business.
A guy named Luca Pacioli published a work on double-entry bookkeeping, which basically created the foundations for modern accounting, a system we still use to this day.
That same humanist spirit of discovery and curiosity pushed explorers right across the Atlantic. This era gave us the first trip all the way around the world, and you can see in maps like this one that the European worldview was expanding at an incredible rate, all driven by this new desire to measure and truly understand the whole globe.
And these ideas were just contagious. Thanks to new tech like the printing press, they spread out from Italy like wildfire. You can literally see the influence pop up in architecture all across the continent, like in this jaw-dropping French chateau, which beautifully blends that Italian Renaissance style with its own local traditions.
And that's a really key point. The Renaissance wasn't just one single thing. It wasn't Italy-style copy-pasted everywhere else. As it spread, different cultures adapted it and made it their own. In Poland, for instance, it mixed with local traditions to create this golden age of Polish culture, with stunning masterpieces like the Sigismund Chapel.
And of course, you have literature. I mean, in England, the Renaissance gave us William Shakespeare. His plays might be the ultimate expression of that humanist focus on the individual, diving deep into the complexities of human emotion, our choices, and our flaws.
So, it all sounds pretty great, doesn't it? A golden age of progress, a clean break from a dark past, right? Well, here's the thing. Modern historians have started to ask some tough questions about that simple, shiny narrative. The debate today really boils down to this. Was the Renaissance a truly sudden, revolutionary leap forward that changed everything overnight? Or was it more of an evolution, an extension of trends that actually started way back in the Middle Ages? As one historian put it, was it connected to the past by 1,000 ties? For a long time, the story we all learned was the one made popular by 19th century historians like Jacob Burckhardt, and it's a powerful image. He described it as a moment when a veil was removed from man's eyes, allowing humanity to finally wake up from a long medieval sleep and see the world and themselves with brand new clarity.
But today's historians paint a much, much more complicated picture. They point out that for a lot of people, this was no golden age. This was still a time of absolutely brutal warfare and vicious religious persecution. And some scholars have even asked, famously, did women have a Renaissance? Arguing that for many women, they actually lost power and independence compared to the Middle Ages. So, where does that leave us? The Renaissance undeniably gave us some of the world's most breathtaking art and most powerful ideas. But that simple, clean, golden age story? It's just that, a story. So maybe the real question is this. Was it a true golden age for all of society, or was it just some brilliant marketing by the wealthy, powerful people who, let's face it, were the ones writing the history books? That's the debate that's still very much alive today.